All right, so Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom. All right, so Lord willing, right? I want to go into this lesson real fast. Excuse me, real fast. All right, so Lord, I want to go into this lesson real fast. I ain't gonna say real fast. I'm gonna go through the spirit, but a little bit of history on it, but just showing you how how the book of Ecclesiastes it says. I will read that real fast. Book of Ecclesiastes 1, if I'm not mistaken. Right, verse 9 it says, "The thing that has been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there's no new thing under the sun. Is there anything wherever it may be said, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us," right? So understanding that, there's no new thing under the sun, meaning, things done happen, things that, ain't, lack of a better word, ain't nothing new under the sun, you know. That every things you see, these things that happened before, these things that happened before, and then it's even with the people, we're regenerated back into the earth, reincarnation. Ain't nothing new under the sun. I'm trying to think of a analogy, the way to put it, but ain't no better way to put it. Just what it said. The scripture kind of self-explanatory. It said nothing new under the sun. Even when it goes into the way that Esau moved and how Esau trying to take down our people, the way Esau coming towards our people, the captivity, the destruction, things that we're going to face, right? Just like with 67 AD to 70 AD, right? How that was a harsh time for our people. Guess what? Ain't no thing under the sun. That same thing is coming to our people now. Trump Nero saying, Trump reincarnation Nero look just like Nero, right? But understanding that how Nero was coming down on our people, coming hard on our people, causing revolts from the Jews, or rebellions and things for the Jews. What you think is going on now? Is Trump not doing those same thing? Got the people rebellion coming against the Israelites, the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, which are the true Jews of Yahweh Shem Shah, right? But just understanding, right? I want to go into this because, as I read that, just like before, they knew to take down the temple, right, was the only way they could, was a key piece in them taking down the Jerusalem, taking down our homeland, taking over our homeland, and their main focus is what? To always to come against the temple, because that's the holy place, sacred place, right? And to take that down, that's how you scatter out and take us down from there, right? So I'm gonna read this real fast. This right. So I typed the Roman emperor, right? You had Julius Caesar, right? Then you had Augustus Caesar. Then you had Tiberius Caesar, right? Then you had Caligula. Then you had Claudia Caesar, and then you had Nero. That was the first six. Then you had the year of the four emperors, right? Galba, Otho, Vitellius, and Vespasian, right? And then you have Titus Domitian. Starting with Vespasian, the reincarnation of Julius Caesar, that goes into the Flavian dynasty, where they came even harsh on our people, starving our people, all type of things, right? But so let's read this. Let's read this real fast. So this is one of the Roman emperors, right? It says in 3940 CE, Emperor Claudia, it's like I always say Claudia, Caligula, ordered a massive statue of himself to be erected inside the Holy Temple in Jerusalem to be worshipped, violating Jew. I ain't gonna say Jewish because we were the true Jews, right? Jew, because this is going to the Southern Kingdom. You gotta think the Northern Kingdom was already scattered over here into the Americas, right? The Assyrians came over their land. The Most High caused them to be pushed out. Things that said the traveled over here to the Americas, right? So that's for another day. But it's going to mainly the Southern Kingdom was here, right? Because the Northern Kingdom had already traveled over here to the Americas. But right, it says lucky, like a car riding by. Oh, all right. So to continue reading on, it says violating Jewish, which are the true, we are the true Jews. Suffix ish is to be like, no, we are the true Jews. Those Jewish people over there in our land today, them are the fake Jews. We the true Jews, right? It says, in threatening to spark a massive revolt, the crisis was averted when Roman governor Petronus delayed the project, and Caligula was assassinated in early 41 CE. Right, but I just showed this to show you that, the temple played a key part of them always trying to take down our nation. Right, the temple played a key part in always trying to take down our nation because they knew, that was the key piece in knocking us off. Because that's where we go in and sacrifice. They just get into bind ourselves with to get back right with Yahweh Shah. Right. This is let's get this back pulled up. No, that's not the one we wanted. Okay, here it is, Slakia, right? So this is what I typed in also as well, right? I said ancient Rome knew to take down Jerusalem, they need to take down the temple. It says in 70 CE, Roman forces under Titus destroyed, because you got to think, Nero had under Nero, that's when the rebellions and things and such started. And, after Nero, they go into that whole year of, after Nero ruled, I'll say he ruled, I forgot how long he ruled, 14 years, if I'm not mistaken. Right, got it in my notes. When I say it's 14 years, but let's see, bear with me. I got it all right here in my notes. Hold on, bear with me. I don't went too far down. Did I put it in my regular notes or did I put it in this notes? I know I put it in one of my notes. Bear with me. I got it in here. I know I do. Right? Oh, yeah, it's coming up because I remember right here. Right, yeah, so Nero ruled 14 years, right? Right? But understand it, right? So you had Nero with, it started, right? Nero ramping it up, things as such, right? And Nero ended up going down, right? And then that's coming to the year of the four emperors, right? Which four emperors ruled for 1 year, right? Gabal ruled for 7 months, Otho ruled for 3 months. Then you have Attilus, you have Vespasian, which Nero sent Vespasian over there because he was a general, a general in the army, sent him over there to handle the rebellions and things as such. And later the four emperors were coming in, and Vespasian ended up becoming emperor, right? So when he became emperor, after that, basically his son, because he ended up getting sick, things as such, he ended up dying, right, from intense diarrhea, right? But this is a joke, but he did die from like diarrhea. I think it was some type of stomach cancer, right? Or he could have been poisoned, whatnot, whatever it is, right? But at the same time, Titus was his son, right? Titus came in and finished it off. Titus and Domitian, right? So this is and Roman forces under Titus destroyed the second temple, because you got to think, this wasn't just no one day thing. They was trying to get in. Jerusalem was heavily guarded, it was heavily guarded. So they knew in order to get in there, they had to do what? To take down the temple. That's where the riches and all those things was at, right? When the riches they took from the temple, I went into this another day at another lesson I did recently, right? I showed the picture of the Roman. Matter of fact, let's see. Let's do this. Let's go here. Slovakia for that. We back. So Roman soldiers leaving Jerusalem. I spelled that out wrong. Right, so here it is, the golden candle, right? It's pictures, just illustrations just showing you, but they leave Jerusalem with the riches. They took it, they taken out of they took everything, right? They took everything out of it, right? What's that, say, what is it, Matthew 24? Matthew 24, right? Matthew 24, verse 1 and 2, it says, and Yahushua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples, let's turn this off so in Russian. His disciples came to him forth to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahushua said unto them, see not all these things, right? Because it's full of riches, all those things, right? It says, verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone, should not be left here one stone upon another that should not be thrown down. So they was going to take down and throw down everything. How I was telling them what's finna happen to them in the temple, how the Romans going to come in and take everything, right? So they came in and took everything, man, right? You know, when I'm doing a lesson, you know, take me trying to make all type of things just pop up, you know, and trying to like mess up the lesson. But hey, you can't stop saying, man. Just vibe, man. Right? But to get back to it, right, it says in 70 CE, Roman forces under Titus destroyed the second temple in Jerusalem to end the first Jewish-Roman war, recognizing that eliminating the center of the Jewish religious and national life was essential to quelling the rebellion. Right? To stop. So taking down the temple was major in stopping the rebellion. The destruction was a punitive action and aimed at removing the heart of the Jewish resistance. The heart of it. What was the heart of it? To take down the temple. Though it was also partly driven by the soldiers' uncontrollable rage. Right? So they knew to take down the temple. It said, I'll read this real fast. Decisive action. The destruction of the temple located in Jerusalem was the final critical blow to the revolt that began in 60. So this wasn't just no one day thing. No, it took time because they knew they had to get in and take down the temple. Once again, Jerusalem was heavily guarded, right? It says, while Titus reportedly considered sparing the temple, Roman soldiers enraged by the protracted brutal siege ignored orders, burned the structure, and dismantled it, fulfilling the strategic need to break the spiritual and administrative focal point of the rebellion. So they knew they needed to take this down, man. Right? I'm going to jump down to this right here, to the political motivation. The temple represented the heart of Jewish nationalism and a challenge to Roman imperial authority. Its destruction was a method to demoralize the population. And that's spiritual, how I want to go into this lesson as well, because you're going to understand. They knew, right? The temple was the heart. You know, and it was it says it was a challenge to the Roman imperial authority. You got to think, we're that, and how I'm going to the lesson, we're that temple today, right? We're that spiritual temple being built today. You know, let's go to that 1 Peter 2:5, right? It says, ye also as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahweh by Yahweh Shah Mashiach. And we're those sacrifices day by day, right? Romans 12:1, you know. Let's read that real fast and we'll go back to that. Romans 12:1, what it says, now beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy acceptable to Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. So we're those daily sacrifices every day, right? But going back to it, the point is, you know, ye also as the lively stones are built up a spiritual house. So we're that spiritual temple being built. And there's no scheme, there's no game plan to take it down the spiritual temple, man. You can't do it. So what they want to do, they want to defile the temple, because that's the heart. That's the heart of it, right? That's what's getting this beat going, right? That's what's getting it going, right? And the spiritual temple has been built is what? The elect, the prophets, the teachers, the chosen men of Yahweh Shah. They want to defile those men. They want to take down those men, right? Because in order to do that, guess what? You know, because you got to think, when it says what it says right here, right, that the temple represented the heart of the Jewish nationalism and was a challenge to Roman imperial authority. So we're a challenge to the new world, because you got to think, this is America is the vast Roman Empire, right? So with this being a vast Roman Empire, you know, the ancient Roman Empire, they had, you know, the middle, what was that, Asia Minor, some parts of Africa thing, but they had control of the known world at the time. The Americas wasn't really a part of that known world at the time, but Esau's blessing came through with this beast system here. You know, with the revised Roman Empire, their wound being healed in America, NATO, EU, that's when they take over the whole world, his policies, his ways, and force over the whole world, right? But that temple was those elect men, right? The spiritual temple, we're still against that, you know? And so being against them, what they want to do, they take it down so they can what? Control everything, control the people, control all of it. That's their same motto here today. That's the same thing they want to do today. They want to come against the temple to take it down, to stop, right? To stop them from to stop the truth from going out, to be able to expose them and take it down this place. Because you got to think, in Romans, it's like not Romans, 2 Ezra 11, it tells you how the lion, which is Yahweh Shai, he came out and speaking against them. You know, and part of matter of fact, let's go to that 2 Ezra 11, you know, That's the second Ezra 12, right? And verse 31 says, "And the lion, which is Yahushua, which thou sawest rising up out of the wood," right? Rising up out of the wood, and the roaring and speaking to the eagles, which is the Roman Empire, and rebuking her for her unrighteousness with all the words thou hast heard. This is the anointed Hamashiach. You gotta think the Hamashiach Yom is who? The anointed ones, right? The elect, right? Hamashiach Yom, right? The anointed ones, right? Hamashiach is the anointed. Yom makes it plural. Anointed ones, right? I'm just talking about Yahushua right here, right though. But it said, this is the anointed Yahushua, which is the highest, which the highest has kept for them, and their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them. He shall upbraid them with their cruelty. I'm reading my notes because you're gonna see my notes where it's explaining how, right here, right? This part right here, right? This shows you that little horn is America, right? Because they come out of European. Out of Europe, that bottomless pit, but America that arrives from empire. Because the Edomites are still in rule today, right? They're still in rule today. This that arrives from empire. Remember, I just said how Esau's blessing was fulfilled through this beast, right? Through this beast system, where their policies enforced over the whole world, the facts of the earth, the sword, right? But it continues reading on. It says, after that 3 days and a half, the spirit will be sent down upon us, right? The Kakadash, right? That's in lands our captives, right? Root 2 and 30. The spirit be sent down upon us, right? And upon us, that's the prophesying against his eagle, the Roman Empire, which is still here today, right? These wicked Edomites, we speaking into an existence, right? We speaking into existence, so we speaking against this place. That spiritual temple be back up, and it's against Esau's order, against Esau's policies, against his ways, because those are the rights of men, Yahushua, standing on the principles and oracles of Yahushua. Because in this spiritual temple, guess what we do? We measure ourselves through the scriptures. Right? It says, there was given to me a reed like unto a rod. That's like an ancient measuring stick, right? The angel stood right, saying, rise and measure the temple of Yahweh and the altar and them that worship therein. So what's that spiritual temple? What you think that rod, what you think that measuring stick is? This the Bible, these scriptures. We measure ourselves through the scriptures, making sure we align, making sure the brick lined up, making sure everything how it's supposed to be. Because they can't come against this temple. Only if they can do what? Defile this temple that we're in now, right? Let's go to what's that? Luke 17. I'm gonna read Luke 17 and I'll read verse 20. I started 20. Just to get a point. It says that when he was demanded of the Pharisees when the kingdom of Yahweh should come, and he answered them and said, the kingdom of Yahweh cometh not with observation. It's the point right here. Neither shall they say, lo here and lo there. For behold, the kingdom of Yahweh is within you. Right? So the kingdom is within us. For them to come against it, for them to go against it, because we know, right? We know that what? The scriptures tell us what? Let's go to Revelation real fast. I went to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation 18 real fast, right? And verses oh no, I was right. Revelation 14. That's a spirit, so he led me right to it. Revelation 14, right? Is it 14? Bear with me. Bear with me. I'm searching out this piece on my other phone real fast. It should be Revelation 14, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Because what they want to do is the temples of this, what they want to do now, they want to defile the temple now. They want to defile the temple now, take down people by what? With that charagma, right? With that chip, the MOTB, right? Let's go right here to, it's in Revelation 14, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought it was. Bear with me. Yeah, I know. Okay, it says, I might just be looking over it. Okay, yeah. I'm looking right over it. It's like it. Revelation 14:9 says, the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his hand, or it's like receive his heart in his forehead or in his hand, right? The MOTB, that Karagman, that chip, the RFID chip, right? Because Esau, you see a lot of these countries enforcing it now. You see a lot of these countries, they putting it out now. Right? It said, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without measure into the cup of his indignation, and shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. Right? When Yahweh Shai and the angels are coming and bring destruction upon this place. Right? So Esau's objective is to what? To enforce that chip. Right? Revelation 13:16 says, he causes both small, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, save he has the mark, say he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? So if you don't take that chip, you're against this system, you're against this place, right? That's how you're looking at it. So the ones who's not going to take that chip is that spiritual temple, the righteous man of Yahweh Shai, which, as if you even go up, in verse 4 it says, these are they which are not defiled with the woman, talking about the elect, for they are the virgins. Meaning why? Because they're virgins, because they ain't out here laying down, they ain't out here just caught up in the ways of they ain't got caught up in the ways of Esau Edom in this place. We focus on that spiritual marriage with Yahweh Shai. It said, these are they which follow the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. These are the redeemed from among men, being the first fruits. That's another name for the elect, unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. Right? Because these are the righteous. When they follow Yahweh Shai, wherever they go, they ain't caught up and laying down with the woman. They ain't caught up in playing the harlot with all these other doctrines, the other nations, these other ways. They only focus on the ways of Yahweh Shai. Right? But the point is, Esau, he don't want to defile that temple by putting that chip within you, which they knew back then to take down our people, to control our people, to be over our people was what? To take down that temple, the heart of it. Right? Because it was a key that was against their I just said what it says. It was a key that was against their imperial authority. Well, today, we're still against that imperial authority. We're still against. So now they want to try to force it. If you don't take this chip, you liable to be beheaded. You liable to go through all type of harsh things, right? That's what they want to do. They want to defile the temple because they knowing you take that chip, that's going to put you on their side against Yahweh Shai. Right? You give it into their system, you give it into their ways, because they ultimate ways is to do what? Gather up everybody to go against the war with the Lamb, the war in heaven, man. Esau's trying to fight for eternal life. Esau trying to fight for their kingdom to last forever, right? Ever since they came in through that, they came back through this system right here, America, NATO, EU, right? This place, this beast system, that Riser Empire came back. They've been trying to fight for eternal life, man. Trying to find a way to keep his kingdom lasting forever. They show it in movies, they show it in all type of ways, right? So they trying to gather, they want to gain control, they want to be like God, they want to control everything, right? But you have those men, how about Shai, who was exposing them, speaking their prophesying against them, pointing out their iniquity, pointing out their ways, pointing out the wickedness in this place, and why it's gonna go down. They wanted to get rid of those men. Once you get rid of those men, Jake is out here just doing whatever. You got to think. The scripture said if it wasn't for that remnant they elect, our nation would have been destroyed, right? But you have the elect who's standing their name he's standing on the righteousness of Yahweh his way and not giving in to it, right? So let's go right here to 1 Corinthians 3. Right? And starting in verse 16 says, know ye not that you are the temple of Yahweh, and the spirit of Yahweh dwelleth in you? And they know this, man. They know that we're the children of Yahweh Shai. They know this. That's why they want to defile us. They want to hold us down. They want to get us. They trying to put Jake in the hard spot now, so Jake be like, you know what, man, let's take it. Jake done fell off so many ways by going through harsh punishment, going through, so much agony, right? That it get to a point to where Jake just eventually start giving in into this ways, giving in to the easiest way out. Esau know that, so they gonna make it tough. They gonna make it hard. Taking EBT away, taking all these things away. So you know what? Next thing you do, let's enforce the chip. Or Jake, who built this money up, he done finally got himself together. In order for you to keep this money, man, you gotta take this chip. They want you to do that, because they know that's turning you away from you. How about Shai? Remember, their whole objective is to do what? That's cut them off from being a nation. Right? It says, if any man defile the temple of Yahweh, him shall Yahweh destroy, for the temple of Yahweh is holy, which temple ye are. So we're that temple, man. Right? Now, we're that temple, man. Right? He said, let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seem to be wise in this world, let him be a fool, that he may be wise. Right? Because knowledge of the world is foolishness. But to understand that we're that temple, Esau wanted to defile that temple. You know, he wanted to bring down those righteous men. He wanted to enforce this chip into you, man, so that he can defile you, right? And that's why Yahweh is going to destroy them, man. He's going to get rid of them. That's why you got to stay focused in the spirit. You got to peep Esau's narrative. You got to peep Esau's ways, you know. And Lord willing, I just went through the spirit, you know, I want to go into this because even in the times we in now, we can see that ship getting closer and closer, man. You got to peep his moves, got to peep his ways. His whole objective is to get you on his team, right? He want to gather as many people he can to that battle, man. He want to gather as many people as he can. And you're going to have some Jake who out there in the army who going to take that ship, who going to do it. But they all going to be destroyed. You defy that temple, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed right along with them. There's no repentance from it. Esau know that shit. Excuse my language. Esau know that. Ain't no coming back for taking that chip. And they still going to enforce it out. They still going to mandate it, right? Because they know the ones we can get, they're going to be on our side, you know. They're going to be on our side. And it's going to make the ones look foolish. It's going to make the ones look foolish who don't get it. You tripping, man. Okay, cool. Just wait on it, right? That's why you have about it's going to be a great insurrection for those who fear the Lord. Let's go to that, right? Because we close it out. So for sake of time, got to head in the house, you know. Let's take Ezra 16, right? And I'll start at verse 70 and read on down. It says, for there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, man. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen. And they shall be tried as gold in the fire, man. So this is going to be, matter of fact, it says, hear, O ye my beloved, says the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, and I will deliver you from the same, man. So you got to keep faith. You got to hold on. Just like back then, they was coming on Jake harsh, starving Jake, cutting out the water supply. They was doing all those things to get Jake weak. And the plan, you know, the big game plan was to take down the temple, to get rid of that. What you think they're going to do today? They're going to starve. They're going to do all type of things. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be trouble. Oh, yeah, if you want to get good, hey, man, hey, take this chip. What is that? Defile the temple, because we're that spiritual temple, remember? And you're going to have ones who going to sell out. They not of the temple, man. They not of the building block. So this foundation is standing strong. The foundation of the temple is the name of Yahweh Shah, you know? Bear with me. Right? You know, the foundation of this temple is the name of Yahweh Shah. And from that, we building on up, man. So Esau can't come against it. So Jay, you got to understand, man, hey, we're that spiritual temple where they can't destroy. They're going to try to come against you, but you got to understand, they can come against this flesh and blood. But you're not going to put no chip inside of us. You're not going to do none of that, right? You ain't inserting nothing. You ain't inserting nothing inside of my hand, my forehead, none of that. We ain't going for nothing. We good. You can get your guillotine. You can do all that. Because at the end of the day, it's the spirit that we focus in. The spiritual, we focus in the spirit, because that's what's going to live forever. That's what lives forever. That's what we're going to be in the kingdom. That's what we're focusing on, you know? We know you're going to try to trick us with all the fancy miracle things that you can try to do, but we ain't caught up in that, man. You know? So, Lord willing, man, you know, I'll tell this lesson, you know, any man that defile the temple shall be destroyed. You don't want to defile that temple. Esau's whole motive is for you to defile that temple. They know coming against the elect, coming against the men of Yahweh Shah, they know that they can get them down, they can defile that temple, destroy that temple, and they control the people. They can stop the, you know, they said they can stop the challenge to the imperial authority. They can stop the challenge against it. But hey, we're gonna forever stand in there. We're gonna forever prophesy the downfall of this place. You know, forever and always tell you how Shah come deliver us out. We speaking into existence. So you can let them come against that temple. You know, this is spiritual temple. We standing strong, we standing firm in the name of Shah, man. You know, so that being said, Lord willing, right? You know, hope this was edifying and exalting. Right, and I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole feet legs, starting with the 100 foot for 1,000. Shalom.